Fans, it's Michael Pierce from Michael's Health Answers. I'm here today not with a health update in the normal sense, but after being asked to share my testimonial on a company call this week, I've had multiple requests to have my story written down so it can be shared with other people in their downlines and their organizations. To that end, I'm cutting a YouTube video today because I am much more comfortable sitting here in my office talking on my video camera, using the mic in my video camera, sitting here in front of my computer, comfortable, relaxing, enjoying myself, getting to freely share the cool parts of my story. So to that end, I'm not going to talk about me specifically. I'm going to talk about my story. So those of you that don't know me, my name is Michael Pierce. I am the editor-in-chief at MichaelsHealthAnswers.ca. This platform has existed for 2 years. Its solely reason for its creation was so that I could share my heart health recovery story. So I'm going to start at the beginning. So it started when I was born in 1965. Sorry, we don't need to go back that far, but it will go back as far as 2000. So in 2001, I was a papered chef. I had 21 years experience, and I decided that I could no longer participate in the training of any more slaves. So to that end, I left a 20-year career as a papered chef, serving some of the finest, richest food on the planet. Two reasons. One, I wasn't getting paid very well, and two, I was gaining 5 pounds, 10 pounds every year and just couldn't seem to shake it. I was like 250 pounds by the time I stopped cooking at 35 years old. It's kind of scary. But that's what got me to where I was and what caused all this to happen. So you have to understand what happened before you can understand how cool and amazing that the benefits really are. So to speed the story up, I left the restaurant business for 7 years. I did financial services. I helped families save money and invest money and buy good quality and term insurance that they needed to protect their families until they had savings. So that worked out really well. I learned the rules of the money game. I also learned that it was important to be an owner-operator of business that generated expenses, especially if the expenses lined up with what you wanted to do and what your passion was. It was a win-win-win. So it turns out instead of paying income tax to my government, I actually get the benefit of eating natural health food products and sharing the good word with anybody willing to listen. So you all know how that works. I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys get it. So now, fast forward to leaving financial services. That's when I met Robin. And Robin was this wonderful older lady I met that had a breathing problem. She'd had COPD and had like 45, I think 42% lung function at her worst. And when I met her, she was just below 50. So this nice woman I helped get to the other end of the building, and literally it was like 500 feet from the door to the other end of the building. She stopped in the middle of the counter, put her stuff on the counter, had to catch her breath because she was totally tired and worn out. This was the first day I met Robin. It was in the spring of 2008 while I was still doing financial services. She was a wonderful lady. She was really friendly, really easy to get along with, very supportive, very knowledgeable. She taught me what glutathione was as one of her presentations at the Toastmasters meeting. So a year later, I lost my job as a financial advisor because I'd been in a head-on car accident, and that left me clinically depressed. And they don't let clinically depressed people go out and counsel people about their savings, their finances, and their investments. So after fighting about whether I was suitable to keep my licenses, I gave up on that profession, partly because I had totally lost faith in the entire financial system after the 2008 collapse and didn't really feel good about telling my friends and family to put their money back into the lottery. So before I waste a lot of your time telling you about what used to work, I'm going to get straight into the modern stuff that works. So because of Robin's persistency as well as all the benefits I'd seen her receive in the over a year while she persistently drip, this is what I'm doing, this is what's working, this is what I'm doing, this is what's working, this worked for who, here's my information, this is what we do, this is how it works, here's some other people you might know that got benefits. I started to listen, especially when I looked at the medication choices for clinically depressed people. They all had 4 or 5 pages of side effects, and what she was offering had no side effects other than I might be healthier, have more energy, and be even happier. Novel idea. Something that had all the answers I needed, and it just meant changing something in my diet every morning. It cost a lot of money. I had my troubles with that in the beginning, but once you figure out how important something is, you will find the money to pay for it. We ended up taking some money out of our food budget and gave up on a couple of bad habits, and there we are. All of a sudden, instead of going out for coffee every day and in Moya's case lottery tickets, we were putting that money into ourselves in huge quality nutritional value, and that was the slow road to health. So 3 years into my journey, Robin had planned to move to Victoria to take care of her aging mother that had brought her up here. She wanted to be closer to the huge medical facilities down there, and her sister and some other family. So that made sense. So yeah, we were having the last round of local meetings here in Courtenay, and well, I have to call Robin up. I need her help. I need her to do a meeting. I've got a meeting tomorrow and I can't do it. Why can't I do it? Turns out that I just had an airlift to Victoria, which is 300 kilometers away or 200 miles away, yeah, 240 miles, whatever that works out to in the other measurement. I had a heart attack. Not only had I had a heart attack, I had 3 heart attacks in a 24-hour period. I was lucky when my wife forced me to go to the hospital because for the 3rd time in 24 hours I complained about this pain I couldn't explain and never stopped. I just went away for a while and came back in exactly the same area, so she got me in the car, took me to the hospital. There was a cardiologist on duty. It turned out one of 2 local cardiologists on duty was on call in the emergency room when I came in. He says, "Yeah, you don't look good. You shouldn't be walking around." And I said, "Which one?" He said, "You're having a heart attack." I said, "No way. I'm perfect health. I am in the best health of my life. I have lost 60 pounds. I'm taking this great whey protein. I have never been healthier, never had any more energy ever in my life. I cannot be having a heart attack." He said, "Mr. Pierce, I'm a cardiologist. I've been doing this for 26, 27 years almost now. I've been a doctor for a total of 35 years since I started my training. This is my specialty. I'm absolutely sure when we put the EKG on you before the end of the first page, we're going to see blips, and I'm going to be explaining to you why this is a problem." I said, "Okay, you're the expert. I'll sit down." We've been arguing standing up the whole time because I thought it was so healthy that I was invincible. Turns out, now, guys, if you have a chest pain, don't ignore it, ever, ever, ever ignore it. There's no wasted trip to the hospital if you think you're having a heart attack or if you think somebody you know is having a heart attack. It's even more important for women. Before I finish my story, I've got to give you some heart health facts. This is one of the things I learned after the fact in the hospital. There's 3 important things. The first one was my cardiologist told me the next day after he put the 4 stents in laparoscopically through my wrist. The day before when he'd asked me the question, "Do I smoke?" was the most important question I asked, or he asked and I answered. Because I didn't smoke tobacco or cigarettes, I got to have 4 stents put in because I had 3 90% blockages on the right and 2 70% blockages on the left, and I was just about dead. 2 neat things he found during the procedure while he was putting the stents in. He said that all male hearts had the ability to be adaptive, but my heart was the most adaptive heart he'd ever seen in his 30 years of being a surgeon. So again, the guy in Victoria where I was airlifted to, who was a 30-year veteran of cardiac transplant and then bypass and now the new stent procedure. He was actually the instructor that taught this procedure, and he spent an hour and a half on one side of my heart, on the right side, doing the 290s and the 170 on that side. And 3 days later on the Monday, his apprentice did the 190 on the left side and left the bottom one of the 70 because it was below the crown of the heart, and he felt it was too much of a risk to go down there and plug up or open up something that was 70% blocked off. So here we are. I've had this wonderful result. 13 weeks after I had the 4 stents put in, I went for an an echocardiogram at the hospital. I thought there was a problem because the technician went out of the room and brought her supervisor back. The supervisor redid all the tests. During the process of redoing all the tests, the supervisor explained to me nothing to worry about. They just wanted to make sure that their equipment was operating properly. At the end of the second examination, they compared their notes. They both had exactly the same results. They conferred with another doctor, I guess, at this point, came back and told me there was nothing absolutely to worry about, that they couldn't believe how good my results had been. That so much that in the technician's case, and she had like 15 years experience doing this stuff, she wanted her boss to double check her work. Because her boss had double checked it, they confirmed both results with the doctor. They were happy to say there was no permanent muscle damage to my heart. Well, there are no coincidences. I know that within days of me having the cardiac repair surgery and the 4 stents put in, that there was a medical paper published that said that taking Immunical on a regular basis can be cardioprotective and protect your heart muscle from reperfusion injury. That is exactly my experience. I had 3 heart attacks in 24 hours, 2 of them without the aid of any clot busters or any medical attention. I survived. Not only did I survive, I thrived. I have no permanent muscle damage at all. You can understand why I don't want to write about this. I need people to get how big a deal it was. I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. I ate fatty foods for 30 years. I drank for 10 years. All those things I gave up, and they were part of my journey to health. The biggest part of my journey to health was taking 2 packets of the best food on the planet every day for over 6 years. Because if I'd stopped taking this stuff because I had a heart attack, I wouldn't have the amazing recovery I did. And if I hadn't taken it after I'd recovered from my depression, because my wife was receiving benefits and she wouldn't take the product, if I didn't take the product, I wouldn't have the cardioprotective benefits that protected my heart muscle and protected any permanent damage. So if you know anybody out there that has a heart health problem, if you know anybody out there that has high blood pressure, bad cholesterol, um, bad blood sugar, diabetic people are 80% more likely to have a heart attack than normal population. So this becomes really important that diabetic people understand they need to control the spiking of their blood sugar to take away from the stress on their hearts. And all these benefits can be derived from taking immunocal whey protein we all know about every day. So you just got to get your friends and family on it. If they don't understand the risks, send them to MichaelsHealthAnswers.ca. On my website, you'll see the statistical facts. In Canada, 28% of adults will die from a heart-related illness. Let's face it, that's the second largest portion of our population. The only thing larger is cancer. Number 3 is medical malpractice or misprescription by the medical community because they just treat symptoms. They don't solve our problem. They don't deal with the illness on the inside. The reason I'm in perfect health at 49 years old and not 300 pounds like the guy in the picture behind me. I'm 185 pounds. I'm at perfect weight for a guy my age and weight. Getting to the end of the story, the part I didn't get to cover last night on the live call, I fired my doctor after my heart attack because her and I didn't agree about any part of the reason why I didn't have adequate medical care before my heart attack was I wasn't in good terms with my family doctor. So I found a young new doctor that was on doing locally and was just ready to become a fully practiced doctor. I was technically her first ever patient. With her help over the last 3 years, I have gone from 7 prescription medications for my heart health benefits and 1 liquid injection. I got rid of the liquid injection after 7 days. I got rid of the warfarin after the 13-week test. That was the earliest case anybody I know had ever had for getting off the blood thinners. Most people on for 2 years, some people for 5, most for the rest, a few for the rest of their life. I got the poison out of my system after 13 weeks, 14 weeks, and started weaning myself off other medications. 3 years later, I'm in my doctor's office. She tells me 2 amazing things. Not only is she going to take me completely off Lipitor because my bad cholesterol is under 2 and my good cholesterol is over 1, but she's also going to lower my metoprolol dosage from 5 milligrams to 2.5 milligrams, leaving me instead of on 7 pills and a liquid injection. I'm now down to 2 pills on the minimum prescribable dose offered by the medical system. So for a guy that was supposed to be on 2 pills for the rest of his life, and that would take at least 5 years to get him down to that, I'm down to it at 3 years. And here's where the 5 years becomes important. Statistically, half of all people will die within 5 years of having a heart attack. So for men, 40% of men die during a heart attack if it's outside a hospital. The average age for a man to have a heart attack is 47. So guys, if you're in your 40s, and you have any chest pain at all, if it reoccurs ever or persists for more than 2 hours, go straight to the hospital. If you're short of breath, sweating, or thirsty, go straight to the hospital. Don't go yourself. Call a damn ambulance. Get your wife to take you. Find a friend. It could save your life. You need to know the average age is 47. Now, for women, the statistics are even more dire. You have to know that 80% do not survive a heart attack outside of a hospital. So if you have any inclinations, you're sick, ill, malaise, tired, drawn up for more than 24 hours, go seek medical help, especially if you're out of breath, thirsty, or have any sort of radiating pain anywhere in the upper half of your body. Just get him checked out, please. Women, same statistics, only 50% survive 5 years if you just stick to the modern medical practices. So I've done everything on the planet possible to improve my potential outcome. And I'm here to say, if you have people with heart health issues, they need to have these answers. They need to know about what I know about. You need to send them to Michael's Health Answers today so they can get their heart health answers. Immunotech has the solution, but if you don't clearly identify how the solution works for your audience, and my audience is anybody with high blood pressure, anybody with high cholesterol, and anybody facing a heart attack that has diabetes or might have had a stroke. Let's face it, all these things are the same sort of illness. They're in the same group. They need the same things. You need to increase the quality of your intake while decreasing the quantity of your bad intake. You need to take responsibility for what goes into your body, master what's in, and the outcome will be great. So take care. Thanks for listening. Send your people to MichaelsHealthAnswers.ca, and thank you for letting me share my heart health story. You know, we all love Immunical, and I want other people to understand why I love it, why it's important. So you just need to share it, get this message out, like, share my posts on Facebook, on Google+, pass them around Twitter. Let me help you get the message out there. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. It's Michael Pierce from Michael's Health.